February 3rd. Hopefully, if you are new here, please let us know in the chat how you are doing and what is the biggest challenge right now in homeschooling. So, are you dealing with any reading challenges? Are you dealing with any math challenges teaching? Today, we are going to learn about a few like routines and schedules. Is that a challenge right now? Just let me know and post it in the chat. We're going to have a really good hour. Hopefully, some of our hours do not be as long, but we'll see how everything goes. And if you're just now popping in at a later time, put it in the comments because I will post this video on our social media. During this hour or however time we have, we're going to create a realistic homeschool routine, or I'm going to help you do that and think about how you're going to do your routine. Building confidence in teaching when it comes to reading as well as the math. And then also simple strategies to implement that is really, really quick and easy that you might have materials at home that you can do. And then let's do some supporting and encouragement in the homeschool journey. So, within this whole entire time together, make sure that you're taking notes, asking questions. And then, if you have any insights into what you do, all of those fun, different things, make sure that you put it in the chat or in the comment section if you're watching this at a later time. The first thing is building a sustainable routine. So, for our new homeschool parents or parents that are trying to revamp, you don't remember that most children do not need a full school day at home. That means that you do not need to have everything in teaching in homeschool for 6 to 7 hours a day. Make sure that you are looking at the consistency over quantity. If you were in our last the homeschool hour, we kind of mentioned this as well as giving some examples of scheduling. Some I gave a schedule to where you can do a homeschool hour or a day of just having 3 hours, 4 hours, like a part-time homeschool. With that, all you're doing is focusing on the main points. You're focusing on maybe reading and math and a little bit of flexibility or a little bit of like art, music, all those different things. In another homeschool parent hour later down the road, I'm going to kind of go over how that you can immerse different grade subjects together within your child in your lessons. So, like, you can put reading as well as science and social studies together, and it cuts down on time, but you're also reviewing and really honing in on different skills of different subject areas. But remember that consistency over quality. You don't have to have like a whole bunch of hours and stuff. Consistency of being, okay, we're going to do 30 minutes of reading and we're going to be consistency looking at this standard, or we're going to consistent of looking at working on an art project together. We're going to be consistent on Friday and doing projects or um, maybe doing field trips, different things that you can do. Okay. Um, Focus on daily versus weekly planning options. Last time when we talked, it was the backwards design method and designing your curriculum backwards. So, real quick, if you're not familiar, basically you are looking at the end result. So, if you are doing your homeschool, kind of matching the school year to where at the end of May or April, or June, depending on how far you go. But if you are, that's the end, and then we're going to go to the next grade level back in August or September. What do you want your child to know by the end of this particular grade level? What do you want them to pretty much mirror? When you're doing that, you're working backwards. So you're saying, I want them to learn this. So in this time, we can do this in 4 days a week, or we can do this in 5 days a week. How we're going to do for each week to match that particular goal. And then you can break it down even further and say the daily of what we're going to do each day to match the goal. Overall is going to match that overarching picture. Again, I can go through that. Just leave it in the comments or leave it in the chat of me going through how does the backwards design work and what we need to do. The next thing is managing multiple children or mixed grade levels. So if you have children that are, let's just say kindergarten, and you have some children that are middle school age, and you have some kiddos that are high school, you may want to manage your time and have a different routine for each of them. Maybe for middle school and high school, you can put them on a more independent. Monday, this is what we're going to learn. On Tuesday, Wednesday, I want you to do independent work. And on Thursday, we're going to assess you or see how you have done. What do we need to reteach? What do we need to regroup? And then Friday, maybe we make up, or we're going to all come together and do something else to really hone in on a different concept or skill. So having it to where you having a routine for each child, especially if you have multiple children that are at different grade levels. Another thing is when you're thinking of a routine, you may have a child that's not even grade level at all. They might be a kiddo, they might be a toddler. Maybe having them incorporate, maybe they're going to do something hands-on, or during nap time, we're going to do reading, but when they are awake, we're going to do something fun with them. And we're going to, incorporate them in some type of way, but putting them in the schedule as well. Again, if you need help on that, let me know. Let's chat a little bit. So, and these are things that you want to really think about when you are creating your routine and your schedule. So, what times of day work best for learning? We always say, like, in the morning is the best time to learn, but studies are showing, a little bit of studies that are showing middle of the day is actually the best time to learn, because that's where your senses are heightened. That's when your brain is already opened up a little bit more. During the day, you have some sunlight, you're able to kind of stretch it out, you're a little bit more productive. And then some parents actually, depending on their work schedule, tutor or not tutor, excuse me, they are teaching and doing their lessons in the afternoon. Okay, the best times for them is maybe in the afternoon for as they're scheduling and how they're doing work. Whatever works best for you for learning, stick with it. What subjects must happen daily? For you, it might be your child may need a little bit more help when it comes to reading, as well as focusing more on math. So maybe those are the subjects that we're going to spend a little bit more time on. And we have to do it daily so we can move it up and we can really build those skills. And then what subjects can be a little bit flexible? Those are the other things. Think about, for you, what are some things that can be a little bit flexible? Maybe math can be a little bit flexible because my child is really good in math and they are really like independent learners when it comes to math. So maybe math will be more of an independent thing that they can do that I can not have to really hone in on every single day. Or maybe science or art can be a little bit more flexible because those are things that I want to have as an enrichment and not so much as a focus area every day. Remember to identify the importance in the routine. Okay. Like I said, focus on these particular guidelines when you're creating your routine. The three non negotiables. This could be reading, math, and writing. But for every child is different. So one can be math, writing, and science. One can be math, writing, and or reading, writing, and I want to say like study skills or penmanship. That's a non-negotiable. Maybe you need to focus on like handwriting and things of that nature. And then think of two flexible blocks. This will be really, really good to have some little fun with, as well as giving them more of an enrichment and more of a guide of looking at projects. This can be arts, it can be science, this can be life skills, maybe cooking. You can have a cooking class or a cooking flexible block where we're only doing cooking during this time, or we're only going to do art, we're only going to do nature, we're only going to do or nature walks, we're going to study biology during this time. Things of that nature can be a little bit flexible. And then, like I said, further down our parent hours, we'll talk about integration when it comes to planning. And integration is simply meaning where I can take art and reading and I can mush it together and actually do several different concepts in those particular lessons. So we might read about a certain artist, or we might read about a certain art concept or art skill, and we're putting in reading concepts of maybe vocabulary. We're going to focus on inferencing, we're going to focus on making connections, all those different things with reading, but we're also going to be looking at art. We're going to look at vocabulary in art. We're going to look at certain skills when it comes to art, as well as we're going to look at different artists. We're going to look that use that particular concept and use that particular skill. We're going to actually create our own. So we're going to build different standards when it comes to integrating and actually cutting it down for us the time, because we're doing reading and art at the same time. We're integrating them together. But we'll talk about that later. Okay. All right. The next thing is teaching reading with confidence. So please put in the comments and please put in the chat, how is reading lessons going right now? Are you really, really good with the reading lessons? It's going great. My child is reading. They're engaged with it. Or are we struggling? And let's be honest, sometimes, of course, reading is a wide spectrum that you have to focus on. Is it a struggle right now? My child doesn't like to read. My child is struggling in reading. When it's time to read, it's like pulling teeth. All those different things are we having difficulty with, or is it going great? I want you to know, and this is the biggest thing, we want to focus on foundations, but I want you to take a breath, a deep breath, and understand you do not have to be an expert. You do not have to be an expert at all. All you need to do is understand the fundamentals and the foundations. So these are the biggest things that I want you to focus on. Understand that phonics builds strong readers. Phonics is the one of the foundation pillars that a child has to understand when reading. And I'm talking about understanding letter sounds, understanding blends, understanding digraphs, understanding diphthongs, understanding multiple syllable words and how to sound them out, prefixes, suffixes, and even the root words. Those are the phonics skills that build strong readers. Because once you can get that foundation of phonics, of having them blend, having them understand sounds, when it comes across a big word like onomatopoeia, they're able to sound out that particular word and understand it because of their phonics skills. The other one is sight words. Sight words support fluency. When you have a child that reads like a robot and does like this, and they're reading, if they come across a sight word, they should not. And this is the biggest thing that I tell parents all the time. Sight words is them knowing it on sight. They should not sound out sight words or common words that they should see. I know that there's a video going around that is a child that's reading and they're saying the he, the, and it's the word the. That is a word that they should know on sight. That is not a word that they should try to sound out. A lot of the words that are considered sight words, you're not able to actually sound them out. Some of them you can, but some of them, most of them, you just have to know on sight. The good thing is sight words are from kindergarten all the way until third. I want to say third grade, some of to fourth grade. But having those sight words and reading and understanding sight words and knowing them on sight is really key when we're talking about fluency. The other thing is reading struggles are common and fixable. They are. Even if you have a child that is dyslexic, you are able to actually hone in on different skills. There's a lot of resources out there. Hone on different skills to actually help them. And it's common, you guys. It's not something that you should frown upon, that you should be scared of, or anything like that. And there's a lot of people who are dyslexic that are able to use different I want to say like modifications, but they're able to really focus on how to make it work for them. So it makes it more fixable for them. Okay. Sometimes there are severe cases, but again, calm down, take a deep breath. You're not an expert and it's okay. If you do need extra support, please reach out to your child's pediatrician to maybe get a speech therapist or a occupational therapist, because sometimes those do help with dyslexia in reading, as well as a tutor. have that one-on-one time and figure out where your child is and where they need to go and have the patience. The next thing is short consistency practice matters. Like I said in the routines, short consistency or consistency is much important or more important than the quantity. Okay. So making sure that you stay consistent. If we're going to focus on phonics, let's be consistent in focusing on phonics and then making sure that our child masters that particular skill before moving on. Okay. But be consistent and they don't have to be learning it for 2 hours a day. 30 minutes, maybe 10, 15 minutes of them focusing on something, and they'll eventually pick it up. I promise. And then comprehension begins before independent reading. Yes, your child, even if they do not know how to read, this is really cool. If you have a toddler and they do not know how to read and they don't know the words, they don't know letter sounds, they will still pick up on comprehending certain things. Pig says, or how does a pig sound? That's still comprehension. Or what was the girl's name if you're reading it out loud? What is the girl's name again? Oh, her name was Alice. That's right. They're using listening comprehension, which really helps them when it comes to actually reading and independent reading on their own. Okay. So comprehension even begins before independent reading. So make sure that you're still, even they don't, if even if they do not know how to read, make sure that you are helping them with listening comprehension because it will help them along. So, some quick ideas to implement. I try to get some things here, but these are things that you can use to kind of help implement reading foundations. The first one is sticky notes. I have these large sticky notes here. These are really big. But sticky notes, you can put sticky notes or sight words on sticky notes and post them different places. When you're cooking and all these different things, you can put it on your cabinets, lower cabinets if you have little short people. And then have them read the sticky notes and have them read the sight words and practice those different things. There's so many different things that you can do with sticky notes. It's like amazing. But one of them is maybe practicing sight words, putting them around in a room or however. The next thing is index cards or paper cubes. And the reason why I say paper cubes is you can cut out pieces of paper and have them blend and use phonics. Maybe you're working on a word family or, yeah, working on word families and you have UG as a word family. Have different papers and change out, and you can do a lot of things with this, but you can change out rug and then maybe sug. I know it's a nonsense word, but you're working on the phonics and the blending of the sounds, right? So sug. And then you can even ask them, is that a real word? Sug? No. What about rug? Is that a good word? Yeah. Or pug. Have them change it out and practicing that word phonics. There are so many different things. Again, put in the comments if you have done some of these or put it in the chat if you have had some ideas of like, oh, I did this before, or you can do this. Another thing is having a dry erase board and working on reading fluency. And when I say reading fluency, maybe you can put the first word of the sentence that you're saying and say the. And then the next is the cat and then have them continue on as looks like a little pyramid as you're finishing the sentence and having them even I'm looking or thinking about stretching the sentence having the cat ran. Well, how can we stretch the sentence? Dry erase boards, I mean, you can get them from Dollar Tree, the small ones. You don't even have to have the big major ones, but you can have the small ones and use that for reading fluency, or you can use it for different things. Highlighters, one cool thing I have learned, this is not for my OCD parents, but if you are one of those parents that you really are like, it's okay to have a book and your child can like write in it, or it's an older copy and stuff. And in like this particular one, my daughter has, I don't know if you can see it because it's blurry, but she has drawn all over it. I think it's like a messed up type book because the actual outside of the book or the bound front cover and the back cover is upside down. So I have to pay attention to it. But having highlighters and highlight through a book, and again, I don't think you can see this, but highlight through a book and have them highlight keywords or vocabulary. There is different things if you want to buy highlighter. You can do washi tape, or there is highlighter tape that you can actually use and have them go through books and say, okay, I don't understand this word, or this is a vocabulary word, or this word is what we have talked about. And you can have them go through and highlight all of those keywords or vocabulary words as they are reading or going to read. A journal, you can get a notebook, or you can have them have like a paper, a binder, or keep a folder. However, having them comprehend different things. How do they make connections? Have them write down in a journal. Again, you do not need to have fancy materials to implement some of these reading concepts. It's just making sure that you are creative and making it fun. Now, let's talk about teaching math with confidence. So, just like we did with reading, how is math lessons going? Is it going good to where your math lessons are phenomenal? They are like you are doing amazing job. Your child is getting it. They're understanding the concepts. You have a fun activity that you like to do with them, and it really helps them pick it up. Songs, or is math lessons not going so good? Maybe you're like me. When it came to reading, I thought I was not going to be a really good reading teacher because reading was not my thing. Math was more of my thing. But I became the best reading teacher because I was learning with my students, which is really, that's a whole nother subject. But is math not going good because you're not really good in math and you're just like, I don't know what I'm doing and I don't know how to teach it and it changes so many times. I don't know what's going on. So tell me, how is math lessons going? And it's okay. If you're not getting it, it's okay. Remember, take a deep breath. You don't have to be an expert, but we need to focus on the foundations. Okay. So understanding is greater than memorization. Understanding the concept. You don't have to have a child that understands that can rat off math facts, okay? They have to understand how it works. Multiplication is one of the biggest things. If my child can understand 6 times 2, or they can understand 6 times 3, that is greater than knowing 6 times 3, if that makes sense. Like if I say 5 times 4, and they're just like, ugh, or especially when it comes to the 12s. Oh my goodness. 12 times 7. Ugh, I don't remember. That's a big number. Do they understand how multiplication works or how to figure out multiplication? That is the biggest thing. Okay. Not memorizing just the facts. Because when they get to the bigger numbers, they need to understand the concept of how it works. It's repeated addition. So, how can I figure this out? Okay. Hands-on learning helps concepts stick. I am a big component of hands-on learning and making games and making fun when it comes to learning. It has to be fun. It has to be energetic, and we have to really hone into it. Okay. So hands-on learning is the biggest thing to help concepts stick because it will get into their memory bank and they will absolutely love it. Use everyday items for math concepts. We'll talk about in just a second what some items that you can use for math concepts. But remember, it doesn't have to be expensive. You don't have to go out and buy a big old thing of math manipulatives. You have a lot of things that's already at home that you can use, okay? And then adjust your lessons without switching the curriculum. Adaptability. Math actually leads on kind of like reading. Once you learn, and we'll talk about it, but once you learn number sense, and then number sense goes into place value, and then place value goes into adding and subtracting and multiplying and dividing, and then it goes into fractions, and then it goes into time, and then it goes into word problem. Like it builds on. So you don't have to switch the whole entire curriculum. Just adjust the lessons. If your child is not getting something, if they're not getting adding and subtracting with 3-digit numbers, you might have to go backwards just a little bit and do 2-digit numbers, or let them understand place value. Maybe that's something that's missing. Again, understanding the foundations is really key. And then number sense is the foundation of math. Your child in kindergarten, pre-K, even first grade, they have to know number sense. How does numbers work? Okay, that is the biggest thing. All right. And I will put hopefully in the comment section once I repost this particular video. But I'm going to put in the comment section, we do have an online virtual professional learning when it comes to math, which is totally free. Just sign up and you can join us in understanding how math really does work and how you can teach it a little bit better at home. But before we go to that, here's some quick ideas that we can implement. If you got cereal at home or Legos, that can go with counting. All you have to do is have them count the different Legos and count the different cereals. There's a lot of things that you actually can do with cereal. You can even do multiplication and division, but that's a whole nother thing. Another thing you can actually do is either use dice or playing cards, okay, for number sense. As you can see, oh goodness, can you see it? Yes, almost. Okay, you see how, of course, playing cards have the different types of, or they have the different symbols, right? You can have it for number sense and say, how many do you see on here? Okay. That is a part of number sense, especially like dot images and things of that nature. And even dice, you know that this dice is three. Okay. Because you don't have to count it. You already know there's two at the top, one at the bottom, or you can also say there's three in one row and there's none on the sides. I mean, that all goes into um, number sense. And then adding and subtracting. I can take two cards and add them together. This is a four. I don't know if y'all can see it, but there's a four, and this is eight. Put them together. How can I add that? Or can I subtract it away? Okay. Getting muffin tins or an egg carton and understanding multiplication and division, especially when it comes to arrays or splitting it up. You have 20 cereal or 20 macaroni noodles. How can I divide this into four rows? How many will go into each row? There you go. Measuring cups and food for fractions. If I add one half of one and plus one half, what would that equal up to? Or if I have a slice of pizza and we're making pizza today, we're cooking pizza, and we have four people, but each person has to have two slices. How many would that be? In fractions. And if I take one of these slices away, how many slices are left? There you go. Again, no fancy materials are required. Use what you have at home. I hope that helps just a little bit. I love to go into fun ways of how to do things, so I can go on and on. But if you have some ideas, I would love to see too, because there's some things that I'm still learning. Do you have any questions? Oops. Have any questions? Let's discuss them if you do. Please put them in the chats, put them in the comments. I will make sure that I will read them and respond to you. And parents, if you see those questions, make sure that you respond to them as well. Some key takeaways from this hour, and I know that we haven't done the whole entire hour, we only did a few minutes, but we're running out of time. But I want, because we had a talk or discussion before we actually started, so we're running out of time. But choose just one routine adjustment and one reading or math strategy to try this week. Okay, just a adjustment. If something is not working, adjust it a little bit. Try a different strategy or just one strategy that we talked about, whether it is using dice or whether it is using the sticky notes. And remember that small changes make a huge difference. It really does. When you are changing or adjusting that one routine, it might really help with the frustration. If you're doing like trying to do a full day of homeschooling and you adjust it to just 4 hours or 3 hours for that day, that might make a whole adjustments for you in relieving pressure and off of you as well as your child. And then even doing one little hands-on activity might make a huge difference. Again, preview for March, please join us. I believe, I'm not sure of the actual date. I actually can look it up real quick. Sorry. It's the first Tuesday of March, which is going to be, I'm going to see you guys March 2nd. We come in at 6:30 and we try to stay until 7:30. We're a little bit over time. It's 7:41. But we had a good discussion before. But in March, we're going to talk about project-based learning, PBLs. I love this. And hands-on activities, which is my favorite. So you don't want to miss this. Be sure to put in the comments if you already have some insights on PBL, what has worked for you, as well as some hands-on activities or even questions. What is PBL? And how can I do hands-on learning and how do I do this? But even if you have questions or some more insights, make sure that you put it in the comments and in the chats, okay? Again, that is March 2nd. Please register so that way you can get the live link and you are able to join us live so you can actually get in on the conversation we have before before we actually start our hour, as well as get to know some of our homeschool parents and join us for the insights. Well, I hope that y'all had a really good time and was able to relax and all those good things. I'm going to stop recording so we can actually talk a little bit more if you are able to. If not, I will see you guys later or see you at our next parent hour. And if you do not know, not March, February 15th, which is on a Sunday, we're going to have our Math Matters. So, like I said before, I'm going to put it in the comments as well as the chat to register. It is virtual. And make sure that you join us so you can learn a little bit more about math and how it works and what you can do to implement it at home. All right. Until next time, I will see you guys. Thank you.